Hey everyone, and welcome to Ohlone College Communication, Section 22, Public Speaking. This is a hybrid class and it's going to be moving really quickly. So if there's any questions or concerns, make sure you email me immediately, either through my Ohlone email address, which is located on the syllabus, or through Canvas. I get both fairly quickly. And I am fairly quick about getting back to students almost immediately, so please remember that I'm here for you. This is going to be our first lecture, and this is the way that I've designed this course, is to do these narrations over my slide PowerPoints. So if you have any sort of hearing disabilities, please let me know so that I can have this on a written Word document as well. Today we're going to be going over a couple things: the syllabus, attendance rules, classroom rules, technology, and the lab manual. I'm trying to be as paper-free as possible, so I will not be handing you a syllabus on Monday for our first 8 a.m. class. Instead, you can find them on Canvas. If you locate the syllabus slide menu, you'll notice that it comes right up. On the top is the syllabus, and on the bottom is the public speaking packet. And that actually details nearly everything that you need to know for this class. All the assignments, all the different examples I have in the course packet. So for attendance, I have two different rules. Number one is tardy. If you are tardy, you are late by 2 minutes or more, and I will hold you to that. However, for absences, because this is a hybrid class, absences are not authorized unless it's a dire circumstance. I don't want you to be freaking out if you're sitting on the front side of the freeway with a flat tire that I'm going to drop you from class. However, there isn't, oh, I'm feeling sick, my parents need me to stay home. You have to be here on the days that we have class, which are Monday and Wednesday. If you are tardy, you will be required to do one of three things: either read a poem, sing a song, or dance to a song of my choice. That's my personal favorite, just putting that out there. So this course emphasizes the basic principles of preparation, organization, research, outlining, delivery, and evaluation. It's the study of the process of communication, evaluating and utilizing evidence, the principles of speech prep and outline organization, management of communication apprehension, the role of the listener in public speaking, speech evaluation, rhetorical principles, and verbal and nonverbal delivery techniques. Upon the completion of this course, you're going to be able to consider your audience and shape your message to be an effective public speaker, and get experience preparing and delivering speeches both in class and in the Comm Lab. You're going to be able to evaluate data and research. I always tell my students that when I was in high school, we just went to the library and we assumed what we found was credible. Now we have this wonderful thing called Google. How do you know what information you pulled up is credible? You get to sit at home in your PJs while I had to get dressed, but I had the belief and the understanding that if a book was published and in my local library, it can be trusted. You don't have that same luxury. And finally, analyze and critique speeches in the classroom community and communication lab. For this class, you're going to need a couple of things. And let's start from the bottom and work our way up. First of all, a reliable email account. I believe everybody should have Ohlone as an email address, but I'd really like you all to download the Canvas app if you have not already done so. It will keep you on top of all the different requirements. And because this is such a fast-moving class, I don't want you to miss anything because you missed an announcement. The second is a USB key or a flash drive. You can usually find these at Office Max. You'll find them at the bookstore, and they can be as cheap as $5. The reason that you need these is because we actually record the videos, and I'm going to give them to you to go over and watch, and then write a self-reflection over. Finally, it's the books. So there are two different books that I require. Number one is the Public Speaking Handbook. It's the 6th edition. Now there's a couple different ways that you can actually purchase this. Number one is an ebook, and the key can be bought at the bookstore. Number two is a hardcover. As I understand, it's like $300. Don't do that to yourself, okay? Number 4 is a loose leaf paper version. As I understand it, if you or one of your friends gets the ebook, you can actually buy a $20 loose leaf paper version. If you're more of a tactile person, you like those books, you want to write on it, this may be the way to go. But I'm going to leave that up to you. For the Communication Lab Activity Manual, you absolutely have to buy it in the Ohlone Library, the Ohlone Bookstore. It has to be new. It cannot be used. It's approximately $30. And almost a third of your grade will be based on this manual. So make sure that you get it sooner rather than later. There are several programs on this campus that can help you succeed in college. If you're diagnosed with a disability, SAS may be able to help ensure that you're successful in this class, including alternative testing times and locations and alternative media, subtitles, for example. But there are a lot of different resources on this campus that sometimes we don't know about because we haven't been exposed to them. I tend to be really techie in this class. I don't give out paper because I want to save the trees, and I don't expect you all to print out your work as well. Mainly because, have you seen the cost of printer ink? No thanks. So instead, we'll deal mainly with Canvas. When we turn in paperwork, when I have you turn in your outline, your self-reflections, it's going to go through there. But just because I'm techie, just because I like computer stuff, doesn't mean that if you aren't as techie as I am, that you should be put at a disadvantage. So there's a lot of different resources on this campus that may be able to help you with that. For example, the Communication Lab, which is going to be a must attend for this class, and we're going to talk about that, I believe, on Monday, but maybe Wednesday. The Learning Resource Center, the English Learning Resource Center, Extended Opportunity Programs and Services, Cooperative Agency Resources for Education. If you struggle with English or writing essays, the English Learning Center might be great for you. Learning Resource Center has a lot of different programs. If you have children under 14 at home, or if you're a first-generation college student or economically disadvantaged, there are resources for you. And if I remember correctly, the Health Center actually has 3 different appointments you can make with a health services advisor. So if you just need to go out and talk to somebody, make sure that you're reaching out to on campus. Your fees are paying for a lot of these services. Make sure you use them. So let's get into the course requirements. We're going to talk about assignments, my late work policy, grade challenge policy, course material warnings, code of conduct, and technology rules. There's going to be 4 original speeches, 2 speech outlines, 2 self-reflections. You've got Communication Lab hours, 12 of them, Communication Lab book, which we talked about on the required materials page, quizzes, and extra credit opportunities. So the 4 original speeches, and they're going to be varying types and lengths, are going to be your introduction or your item speech, your informative, your persuasive, and your impromptu speeches. Your outlines are going to be for the informative and the persuasive speech. Your self-evaluation are going to be for the same speech. Quizzes, it's going to be worth 135 points, all online, and I do not allow makeup quizzes. If you forget about it, that's on you. I think they are always due on a Monday, double check that, but make sure that you stay on top of that. And the lab book and the lab hours is worth 355 points. It's a minimum of 12 hours in the lab and the lab book assignments. You cannot pass this course without 70% of both of these assignments completed. Just putting that out there. There's also going to be some other points awarded, 50 points for online participation, including comments. Sometimes I'm going to ask in a PowerPoint, hey, make sure you comment, and that's going to be included in those points. You've got poetry readings. You've got 2 different examples of that, and we're going to talk about that later. And all work must be submitted through Canvas for extra credit. Finally, there's going to be a speaking in public extra credit. Don't worry, I don't make you speak in public. And speech day extra credit. The communication lab is going to be part of a requirement for this course, and we've got two different communication labs. One of them is at the Fremont campus, and the other one's at the Newark campus. When we come in and do our comm lab tour, I'm going to take you to the New York campus lab. It's going to be 12 hours recorded in the lab, sign in on the paper, and sign in on the computer. So when you complete the lab manual assignments, and if you happen to have it in front of you, go ahead and crack it open. You can complete the assignment wherever you'd like, at home, in the classroom, in the library, and then go to the lab to get it signed off by tutors, interns, or the professor on duty. What you're going to do then is actually going to take a photo of the assignment. You're going to make sure that you include all four corners of the page with the signature, and you're going to write your name below the lab signature line. We can definitely talk a little bit more about how to do that as we get closer to our first assignments. They can help with stuff like assistance with online outlines and speech topics, and they are actually a place where you're going to be required to go and give a practice speech, and you must go there at least 48 hours before your speech. Overall, class is worth 1,000 points. So it breaks down pretty easily. 1,000 points, you get an A. 900 points, you still get an A. 800 points to 899, you get a B. 700 to 799, you get the point. Another way that you might look at it, how many points have you lost? If you want an A in this class, just don't lose any more than 100 points. Do that extra credit as it comes up, and make sure that you focus on that 100-point breakdown. To use a common phrase of the day, shit happens. I'm about to tell you my policy on late assignments. Late assignments lose 5 points for every day it's late. So for example, your outlines are worth, your first outline for your informative speech is worth 30 points. So it can be 3 days late. You're going to lose 5 points per day. Once you hit 4 days, it is worth less than half credit, so I will no longer accept it for points. However, in the case of a late outline, no speech will occur without a written outline submitted to Canvas at least 24 hours in advance of the speech. As I mentioned before, late quizzes, one and done. If something happens, let's say you happen to know you're going to be out of the town that day, talk to me. Maybe we can figure something out. If at 10 o'clock that night your computer just completely freezes up, let me know. You try to let me know at 12:01, it's going to be too late. As for late speeches, if you have a legitimate excuse, such as a death in the family, a traffic accident, sickness, a significant sickness that you can supply a doctor's note for, you may present your speech on the next available day I assign you. However, if you don't have a legitimate excuse, it's 30% off your grade, which means the highest grade that you're going to be able to get is a D, okay? Because nobody gets 100%. Again, I will repeat, no outline, no speech. So if you haven't turned in your outline, but you're ready to give your speech, I'm not going to care. It will still be considered a late speech. One of the areas of my teaching philosophy is to acknowledge that none of us are perfect. I make mistakes, as all professors do. And sometimes, especially as we start getting into orally cited sources, I may have a little noise going on in my head. I might be writing a note about a different part of your speech and may miss that orally cited source. These things happen all the time. So I have it in my syllabus and as part of my policy that you are allowed, and actually I encourage you to challenge your grades. However, these are the rules. Number one, you have to wait 24 hours after the grade is returned. You must bring it to my attention within 7 days. And the grievances must be typed and submitted detailing why you deserve the additional points. Your grade is your responsibility. That's it. If you're not willing to fight for your grade, who is? Class materials warning. This class is rated R. The reason I say that is, one, we're all adults and I will treat you as an adult. Sometimes the topics for speeches, especially as we get into the persuasive speeches, can be really intense topics. Gun control, violence in schools, abortion and pro-life issues, how to deal with mental health issues. The material that we will be viewing, reading, listening to, and discussing may contain adult language, sexual situations, violence, or material that may be deemed offensive by some audiences. Your continued enrollment in this course indicates that you are aware of this material and have chosen to stay in this class. You are all adults, and I will treat you as such. Please ask me, though, if you have any questions or concerns, including if you are unsure about the appropriateness of material you would like to share in class. Now, that being said, the classroom should be a safe space for all. Language and behavior that marginalizes people on the basis of gender, sexuality, race, creed, or any other aspect of identity will not be tolerated. Certain language we've even gotten used to. For example, the word girls. Unless you are under the age of 18, nobody in my class is a girl. It's a language that we use to marginalize people based on their gender. Another one that really bothers me is the word illegal alien. There is no such thing as an illegal alien. We either have illegal immigration or we have undocumented aliens. And the reason is that I have never in my life, and I'm quite a bit older than most of you, have ever heard of somebody say, well, they're an illegal citizen. The reason is that no person is illegal. Whatever. As I was saying, we will be discussing controversial issues in this class, and at times we're going to feel uncomfortable. But as an adults and as an educational environment, we're going to approach these issues in a professional and respectful manner. If you feel that your participation in a certain topic will not be healthy to you, I trust you enough that you can take care of your own mental health and leave the classroom if that's what you need to do. If you have any questions regarding the Code of Conduct, please refer to Ohlone College Campus and District Policies for clarification regarding classroom behavior and safety. But if at any point in time you don't feel comfortable, please let me know. I'm always ready to adjust what I'm doing to make the classroom a better place. Public speaking is an intense activity. And if there's anything I can do to make it better, please let me know. I never will know unless you open your mouth. Technology rules. Like I said, I'm very techie, so feel free to use your laptops. However, if I catch you texting during another student's speech, you're going to receive 10% off your speech. So don't let me catch you. Remember, with emails, that is still a presentation of ourself. So I probably shouldn't have to say this, but every semester I find it's necessary. You can either send your emails to my Ohlone address, which is up on the screen, or to Canvas, but make sure that they're professionally written. The subject line, what it's about, salutation, and use short to the point messages. Sometimes that's the hardest thing I have a problem with, is I want to make it winded so it doesn't seem like I'm just asking a question. It's fine. Ask me the question. I'm not going to feel bad about that. Make sure you let me know who you are, though, because I do have 90 other students, and I may not remember if you're one of my 15 Kevins this semester. Use a closing, and finally come out with your name. As I said, the lectures will mainly be online. They're going to be narrated like this. Some directions will be built directly into the narration, so make sure you're listening to them. So what did we talk about? We talked about the syllabus overview. We talked about the attendance rule. You must show up for every in-class day. We talked about the classroom rules, what happens if you're tardy, and we talked about technology rules. Welcome to hybrid public speaking. Hope you enjoy the ride.